NBC News has also learned this morning that the country of Colombia has recently turned away 2 deportation flights from the United States. Each of those flights held about 80 people, all Colombian migrants, according to a defense official. The aircraft, which were American military C-17s, were initially cleared to land in Colombia, but the president, Gustavo Petro, revoked diplomatic clearances for all U.S. flights, meaning no military or ICE flights will now be allowed to land.
Donald Trump is a savage.
Sir, we've already located 1,300 undocumented criminals. Where do you want us to put them?
Send them back to wherever they came from. They don't belong in America.
Sir, we tried that. We tried to bring them back to Colombia, but the president there is stopping all flights from the United States from landing.
Oh, okay. So you want to play hardball with America? Breaking news, Donald Trump just tweeted that he's putting a 25% tariff on Colombia, and if the problem's not fixed by next week, it goes up to 50%.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joe Report. In today's video, we're going to discuss about the deportation of Colombian immigrants in whose plane was refused to land in Colombia by their president, Gustavo Petro. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please consider subscribing and also liking this video so that it may be able to reach a wider audience. And so this past week, President Trump has signed a few executive orders, and in one of them, ICE was ordered to dig out illegal immigrants that are there in the US and be able to deport them back into their country. And following that order, over 100 Colombian immigrants were found in the US and were proceeded to be deported back into their country. Now, when they got to Colombia, their president refused the plane to land, and so they had to be taken back to the US. And following this incident, President Trump imposed a few retaliatory measures, which I'm gonna show you that he posted on his social media platform. So let's do that first. So this is a post from the Truth Social, which is Donald Trump's social media platform, that says, "I was just informed that 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. This order was given by Colombia's socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who is already very unpopular amongst his people. Petro's denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States. So, I have directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures." So one, you can see here, it's emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. Wow. 2, a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. 3, visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian president. 4, enhanced customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. 5, and the last one, IEEPA Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be fully imposed. And then it concludes by saying these measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States. Now, I'm going to play you a few clips of the incident and what a few people had to say.
To all the people that are celebrating the Colombian president Petro that is standing up supposedly to the United States in this supposed trade war that they've already lost, by the way, you are on the wrong side of this. Colombian President Petro, like I said from the very beginning of this whole issue, is nothing but a communist, Marxist. He comes from a terrorist guerrilla group in Colombia that is responsible for killing many Colombians. He is not a good man. This is what is wrong with the liberal left. You guys do not get the full context and the full story of everything. He's a communist that's been cozying up to the Venezuelan president, to the Cuban government, and does not care about his people the way that he's pretending to care. Colombia right now is in an economic crisis. Actually, as of last week, I think he declared an economic emergency. They cannot sustain these tariffs that they're now trying to retaliate to the United States, supposedly with 50% tariffs. Good luck with that, Colombia. Colombia is going to fold and collapse way before we ever even feel a little tickle from this supposed trade war. Talk about David and Goliath. Like, there's just no way that he's going to win this argument, but he's trying to stand up. Even the Colombian people don't even approve of Petro anymore.
The president of Colombia has responded yet again to Donald Trump, now claiming that he is going to put a 50% tariff on all U.S. goods. Although the president of Colombia is sending his personal presidential plane to pick up migrants from America, he is now saying that if Donald Trump goes through with tariffs, that he will put a 50% tariff on all U.S. goods coming into Colombia.
And so after this post, we saw also the president of Colombia responding to Donald Trump. So I'll show you that post also. And this is the post on X. This is a pinned post actually on his social media account. This is the president of Colombia's account, Gustavo Petro, as you can see. It's written in Spanish, but since I don't understand it, I got Google to translate for me. And it's a long post, but I'll just pick one or two paragraphs to read out loud to you guys. And the first paragraph reads, Trump, I don't really like traveling to the US. It's a bit boring, but I confess that there are some commendable things. I like going to the black neighborhoods of Washington, where I saw an entire fight in the US Capitol between blacks and Latinos with barricades, which seemed like nonsense to me because they should join together. Down here, he says, your blockade does not scare me because Colombia, besides being the country of beauty, is the heart of the world. I know that you love beauty as I do. Do not disrespect it, and you will give it your sweetness. From today on, and this is written in caps, from today on, Colombia is open to the entire world with open arms. We are builders of freedom, life, and humanity. I am informed that you impose a 50% tariff on the fruits of our human labor to enter the United States, and I do the same. Let our people plant corn that was discovered in Colombia and feed the world.
We have a big update concerning the U.S.-Colombia relationship right now. So Colombia's president, after saying that he would threaten to impose up to 50% tariffs, essentially what Donald Trump says, on all American goods, he has officially ordered his foreign minister to impose 25% import tariffs on American goods. So this was the first statement that Petro put out on his Twitter. Essentially, this in Spanish translates to, you put 50% on our goods, we can do the same. And then right after, he ordered his finance minister to put 25% import tariffs on American goods. What we're seeing right now is a diplomatic tit for tat between Donald Trump and the Colombian president, and we don't really know who's going to win this. It's also unclear when any of these tariffs are going to take effect, whether it's immediate or whether it's in the coming days. I envision if Donald Trump does not impose his own tariffs, then Colombia won't impose their tariffs. If Colombia takes in undocumented migrants, then Trump won't impose tariffs. I mean, it's a whole mess right now. We don't know what's really actually happening. But this is the latest news right now. As soon as we get more information, I'll provide it to you. So as always, follow along for more. I'm sure there'll be more soon.
So I don't know how this war will end, but what I know is that Colombia is nowhere near the US in terms of development economically. And so I think it is wise that the president stops retaliating back against Donald Trump. As we have seen, President Trump is standing 10 toes down and is serious about deporting all these immigrants back to their country. So I don't see him backing down, especially to Colombia, if you know what I mean. Also, I'm thinking, why would you refuse your people to land? I mean, that is their country. As I said in my previous video, and I leave a card up here so you can go and watch it. Why would a president refuse for their own people to land? Those people knew that they were on borrowed time on the US soil because they went there illegally. Most of them knew that the means that they used to get into the US was illegal. And so when the time was up or when they were found, they will be deported. Also, deportation is not a new thing. Many people get deported every day. The only difference, as I said also in my previous video, is that the difference now is that this is just mass deportation and so many people are getting deported. But to be honest, this is not a new thing. If your people are getting sent back to their country, I don't see why the president should have refused for them to land. And so I also get where President Trump is coming from. He's trying to clean up the mess and he's trying to get people back into their own countries because their resources are getting overutilized by people that are not even supposed to be there. So you can get where he's coming from. And he's not joking. As you can see, he's been in office for maybe a week and he's already pissed off a few countries because even Mexico refused for their plane to land. Another point that is interesting is that why was President Gustavo trying to find a giant, and then the first measures of President Trump retaliating, he's already sending his own plane to come pick his people? It doesn't make sense. There's no point of you starting a war that you cannot finish. And as clear as it seems right now is that with Trump, when you start it, you will finish it. Now, the problem that Gustavo says he had with returning those planes is that there was no dignity in using the military planes to deport back the people. But the point is, they're already there. Just let the plane land. There's no point of you sending them back and giving them a dignified way of getting back into their countries. For me, that just doesn't make any sense, but maybe that is just me.
We saw was Colombia President Gustavo Petro criticized that the migrants were coming in via military planes. He criticized the conditions and said that those migrants were not being treated with dignity and respect. And he said he was open to those on non-military flights, said he would offer his presidential plane. But as we saw last night, he eventually agreed and said that he would, quote, guarantee dignified conditions for those on board. Now, military planes being used to transport these migrants is relatively new, in part because Trump's administration is increasing the role of the Defense Department when it comes to immigration and his plans for mass deportation.
And also, why refuse your people? These are your people. That is their country of origin. So let them come back and build the nation back at home. They don't have to stay in the US. The resources at the US are getting overutilized and consumed by people who are not even supposed to be there. And that is why Trump is wiping them out. Because why are they there illegally if they have their own countries, you see? So it's going to be interesting to see how things will pan out. I'll keep it locked in for you guys so that if there's any updates, I'll sure come back and update you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think it was right for him to turn back the planes? Do you think President Trump is right in refusing and standing 10 toes down that these immigrants should be deported back to their countries? Do you think it's going to affect America in any way? Do you think these other countries will benefit when their people get to return back to their countries? So let me know in the comment section. I'll be interested to keep the discussion going there, and let me know what you think. Also, there's a video I did on the executive order in regards to the birthright citizenship. So if you're interested in such kind of content, please click here and watch that video. But that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, the J Report out.